With Starfield being as big as it is, we're gonna see a lot of factions in the game, some joinable and some not. Of course, we know quite a bit about the four main factions, that of course being Constellation, the Crimson Fleet, the Freestar Collective, and the United Colonies. But during the Starfield Direct, we did get a reveal of some of the other factions within the game. One such faction is the Vanguard, which to me sounds like an Elder Scrolls faction, but anyway, we know that they are joinable and can possibly get us a United Colony citizenship, which is kinda cool.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
The Vanguard are the military branch of the United Colonies faction, so it seems like some of Starfield's factions will actually have sort of sub-factions too, if that makes sense. We also know a little bit about the Vanguard in that they apparently aim to colonize other planets to increase their control over the settled systems, which could be what led to the bloody colony wars that we know very little about, but I am just speculating there. We've also heard about the group that worship the Great Serpents. It seems like they'll be a heavily religious group, probably taking things a bit too far, as we have heard that many of these members are a little crazy or even insane.
The Great Serpent hungers. All heathens shall be made dust in time.
But there are plenty of other smaller factions too, such as the Ecliptic Mercenaries, a mercenary group who do a lot of, if not most of the bounty jobs throughout of the settled systems. I do have a feeling that they'll also work as a private military group, sort of taking protection jobs and things like that, kind of like how the Gunners worked in Fallout 4. Sadly, we cannot join the Ecliptic Mercenaries, much like the Violent Spacers. The Spacers, or the Violent Spacers, again are a non-joinable hostile faction, which we can see us fighting at the start of the Starfield Direct and in the clip that I'm playing for you now. They're basically your Fallout Raiders or your Skyrim bandits, just casual thugs and criminals that are used for target practice when they're out adventuring and exploring. I very much doubt they'll pose any real challenge to us the player or have any very deep lore. We've also seen some hints towards minor factions too, like smaller factions such as the Red Mile. And we don't actually know if this is a faction or simply just a place that people hang out and gamble. It does kind of look like a casino. There is some evidence to point towards that, but we'll go over that at a different time in another video. Sadly, we don't know much about the Red Mile besides the fact that, yeah, like I said, it looks like a casino, seems to be located on a cool, relatively empty, snowy-like planet. Now, one of the factions that has a few people a little bit confused is actually the Freestar Rangers. Some people are thinking it's just a nickname for the Freestar Collective, but with the United Colonies having the Vanguard, I think it's kind of safe to assume that the Freestar Rangers is actually the military division of the Freestar Collective. Again, like how the Vanguard is the military division of the United Colonies. And we've also seen a few groups that could be factions on Neon. Of course, we know about Region Industries, who will actually have to sit in a job interview for, and Xenofresh Corporation, but there were a few other people that could be, or at least look like, leaders of their respective factions, such as this lady and this dude. Now we can see in a couple of shots these very Japanese styled neo-noir kind of theme going on here. And I think that this will be an entire faction, but of course I am just speculating here. This could be the Xenofresh Corporation or even Region Industries, who knows. We've also got all of the religious groups in Starfield 2, which, yeah, okay, aren't really factions, but it's still a group that we can join. We've got the Sanctum Universum, the Enlightened, and the Serpent's Embrace, which is the faction of House Varun, the ones that worship the quote Great Serpent that we mentioned earlier in the video. We also know about the UC Vigilance, or the United Colony Vigilance. It's still unclear exactly what this part of United Colonies do, but there is another smaller faction I want to mention in the Terran Preservation Society. They seem to be having a party on a cruise ship here, but their main goal, judging from their name and everything in this shot, seems to be reserving Earth, or at least trying to keep plants and life from Earth intact on this ship, or in some other place in the settled systems, since we know that Earth has been destroyed in Starfield's universe. Personally think it's really good that we're getting all of these factions. Even if we can't join a lot of them, we do know that a bunch of factions are joinable, and we'll be getting whole quest lines for some of these factions, like entire faction storylines, so it's great to see Bethesda going back to this, sort of like what we had in Skyrim, actually having faction quest lines instead of just pushing every faction to be a part of the main story, much like they did in Fallout 4. Bit of a hot take, but I actually did really enjoy this in Fallout 4, but I definitely think that we should have gotten actual faction questlines and factions outside of the main story too, so I'm very happy to see it return for Starfield. But anyway, that is all I pretty much have to say today, so let me know in the comments which one of these factions you're mostly looking forward to. Before you go, I kindly ask that you leave the video a like, it really helps out more than you can imagine, and of course if you do want to stay up to date on Starfield news, leaks, breakdowns and plenty of other open world RPG games, then consider subscribing, I've got you fully covered. As always, a huge massive thank you to our channel members for sticking with me month after month, your support truly means the world, so thank you again for your kind generosity. But with all of that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.